Awesome. Well, it's great to be up here, and I don't know if many of you know my background. I actually grew up in a real estate family. This is my 60-second story, as Matt talked about. Incidentally, that is a phenomenal program, that Attract Boss. It literally, and I've been pretty good at connecting with people and bringing people into an organization, build a pretty good sized organization prior to EXP, and I just love being on that accountability. And it's I think we do it 3 times a week for the West Coast. But grew up in a real estate family. My mom was the first lady board president of PCAR, and she was an icon in the industry. I know Marguerite knows my mom pretty well. I think mentored you when you were first at Prudential. I resisted real estate, but then got married, had a child, realized I needed to do something different, got involved in real estate. Failed miserably the first couple years, and then I started doubling my income every year. I got to about 5 years into the process and had peaked out. Only 24 hours in a day, only so many clients. I was number 1 in GCI in both Placer and Sacramento County, and I was miserable. And so I did the next logical thing, and that was open up a brokerage. Yes, that seemed to be the next logical step. And I discovered why they call it broker. Okay, and because after a couple years, I was doing everything I didn't want to do. Administration, figuring out how many rolls of toilet paper for the office. I mean, it drove me nuts because I'm a people person. I want to be out there making things happen. And so one of our partners took over the company. I went back to the company I left and was able to work with my mom for a couple years, which was a blessing for sure. But I realized the limitations of time and money. I realized the limitations of my time and on the transactional treadmill. My mom passed away several years ago, 40 years in the industry. Nobody could be, I mean, she was a top. And she was forced to retire because of Alzheimer's and had nothing to show for it. Oh, she had, a little bit of investment, but really, we kind of took care of her. And that really was an eye-opener to me. And fortunately, I got introduced to a few people. In fact, Steve and Brent and Jim. Everybody knows a lot of these people. They taught me the value of generating passive income, residual income, and we did it through a networking business. And I just grabbed a hold of it. I did it part-time because I was working 12, 14 hours a day, 6, 7 days a week. In real estate, I used to tell people I only work half a day. It's deciding which 12 hours. That's half, right, of 24. And I just went after it. I just soaked up the system. I soaked up the personal development. I got acquainted with Zig Ziglar. In fact, I knew him personally. Dr. Dennis Waitley, and Brent brought us over to an event with Dr. Dennis Waitley a little over a year and a half ago. I just soaked it up. I didn't know anything like this existed, and it changed my life big time. We got to a point, I actually became financially independent at age 32. And lived an unbelievable lifestyle. Kept my real estate license. I would love real estate. Didn't do much with the production side. Got involved in commercial real estate, investing, all that kind of stuff. Lost a fortune, and that was about 2006, if you all remember that time. And but my ongoing income was there. It was powerful. I didn't have to worry about bills. I say that I lost the icing on the cake, but the cake was still good. Okay, but lost pretty much all my assets. And then I've known Brent for a long time. I think he was 18 years old when we first met, introduced by his dad. And I knew he'd been very successful in real estate. I was approached by EXP a couple times. Nobody sat down and showed me the model explained. It's a good lesson there. Really show them the video. And so I just kind of sloughed it off and said no. And then Steve Hillier, we got together. I realized he was bringing his whole organization over here. And I says, what's the difference? And then I had breakfast with Brent shortly afterwards. Invited me to a little event at the Charles Krug Winery. I think it was in Mondavi's. And then got to meet some of the people, went to EXPCon, the rest is history. And I just saw, wow. You know what got me excited? Because I didn't really have to do anything. I was kind of semi-retired. You know what got me excited? Something that we can give realtors they've never had before. And that is ownership. an exit strategy, all the kind of stuff. Now, I'm going to run through a pretty quick slideshow. A lot of it's already been covered by the speakers that were here. I'm kind of a process guy. I have kind of like I guess what they call a concrete sequential thinker. And so I'm going to click on this and go through some things. Here's what it all starts with, and it's been alluded to already. It's got to start with a dream. Got to start with your why. Everything starts with why. Here's what I recommend, and I did this years ago. I thought it was silly. And we used to put all our pictures on our refrigerator, or on our mirror, and so forth. We're taught to do that. I thought, this is kind of silly, but it absolutely works. I can't tell you how many things I've had on that mirror that I took off after accomplishing it. I mean, one of them was a twin-engine airplane. I mean, all this kind of stuff. There was a big house. But I worked hard, but you got to have a focus. You got to have clarity on where you want to go. Take the time to do this. We're all visual people. Take the time to do that. Activity loop, Matthew did an awesome job. That's what they teach in Track Boss and everything like that. I just have a little bit more detail to it. Obviously, make a list. Okay, that's already been covered. Contact and set appointment. Business preview. I wouldn't call it lunch and learn or anything like that. It's kind of an old term. I'd call it business preview. That's a little bit more attractive and professional, in my opinion. And show the model, explain with them personally. Now, how you get to that point, there's a lot of methodology to it. I'm not going to go into the details. A lot of it was covered. Three-way call. I believe this is the secret to success in this business. Brent can tell you how many times I had Steve, I wear him out at least 2 or 3 times a day sometimes. And I mean, it is so powerful because they're going to get in with you and who you're associated with. And it's just powerful. And what's great is, and here's the secret to this: introduce, edify, and close your mouth. Let them talk. Okay, I have a tendency not to do that, but let them talk. Anyway, so get to the next event. Build this event to event. I'm going to kind of end with that as the big message. Get them event to event. I built a huge organization in 31 countries, all 50 states, thousands, actually tens of thousands of independent business owners building event to event. I would set goals to event. I had a list. I had a list of each team I was working with and set goals for them, and I just worked the heck out of it. And that really, I'm going to go through some reasons why to do that. Get them started with the Join app. Personally, as Sophia mentioned, I can tell you, I did it twice now, where they wouldn't let me do it personally. Send me the app. Nothing ever happened. In fact, they ghosted me after that. So it just don't do it. I have one now that will send me the application. No, I'll tell you what we need to do, take 30 minutes, sit down, just take a short period of time. There are some questions you're not going to be able to answer on it because it's just centric to EXP, that kind of thing. And so follow up every few days once you get them started. This is a critical thing too. Onboard them with the onboarding concierge. Sophia does phenomenal. Kahea just phenomenal. Just do that process. It's really, really, it's a rich experience. And all that to follow through on it. It's personalized. They set up their computer with all the tools, everything. It's just really well done. But the follow up and follow through is 75% of our business. 25% is prospecting, but you got to do the 25% to have the 75% to follow up and follow through with, okay? And then help them stay on track. I tell you, I've learned this as a kind of the hard way. I've learned almost everything that way. And it's just every couple days for that new agent on your team, I don't care how experienced they are, touch base with them. Whether it's a text, call them, hey, is there anything I do? And there's a phrase you want to use when you talk to them. Don't suffer in silence. You have any issue that comes up, let me know, because we'll send in the EXP cavalry if we need to. That kind of thing. This is our team. I allude to the three-way calls, very important. All of us have a team, 7 levels above us, right? Okay, well, it expands beyond that. This is just a picture I did of where we sit in the line of affiliation and so forth, but you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. Every one of these people, as you heard today, people that aren't even associated with profit in your business and so forth, willing to help you, and you utilize that. It's the best thing you can do because you want to do it for the people in your business too. So you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. Another group on the team you heard talk about, Frank, what a phenomenal guy. Paul Frank is just, he was helping me with another agent that's a commercial agent down in actually in Palm Springs area, but does a lot of business in Las Vegas area. And he's helping, it's phenomenal. He helped me bring on an agent in Tampa, Florida, who's a top commercial agent. She's an author. She's absolutely phenomenal. And I think he was the key in bringing her over. Because even though I have a lot of experience in sales, it's been a long time ago. I'm not really into production right now. I don't need to. It's very fortunate I don't have to. But anyway, so what's the secret? Oops. I guess I don't. Back it up. There we go. What's the secret? Show up and bring somebody. I learned this years ago. Number one, you show up. And then bring somebody. Bring somebody at every event you go to. That should be your number one goal. Bring somebody new to each event. Build event to event. Here's the reason. It creates belief. You leverage. See, so you can't be everything to everybody. You can't be everywhere. And it's just, I think I wrote it better there. Be everything to everybody or relate to everyone and be everywhere. The relating part is important. Not everybody's going to relate to me, but they'll relate to somebody in that event. They'll relate to one of those speakers speaking on stage. It's so critical. And then duplication. Anybody can get somebody there. You may have somebody this is something I learned. I was a master at building depth in my organization. I always looked for the most excited person, deepest in depth, built that relationship with them, helped them build their business, because anybody can find anybody else. We used to have a saying, and don't be offended by this, but a dud can find a stud. Don't have to use that terminology, actually. But anyway, maybe that wasn't a good terminology. But anyway, sounded better before I said it. Anyway, so personalized development, these are reasons to get them to the event, incidentally. Proximity of top leaders. You always talk about proximity, getting around that mindset, that thinking. Emotional impact. You'll tell everybody, or everybody who's successful in this organization will tell you it was a major event that impacted them emotionally. And you can't do that. You can't give that to, you can, in all the time you have, you cannot give that to people, personally. And all the time that you have. Personal development training, teach agents to create more sales. That's the purpose of those events like PCAR. We want to help them, it's about their children, as Brent says. We want to help them be more productive in sales and become more successful. And then teach agents to create more sales. An event is the best follow-up tool you can have. I've had this experience many, many times where they seem kind of like not interested. But I convinced them to come to an event, and immediately they're starting to write down names on who they're going to talk to. It's like a transformation. They see it, the big picture. One of the things, they can't see the bigness of what we do until they go to a major event. So best follow-up tool, and the greatest KPI, key performance indicator of your business, is growth to event to event. The more people that have, the people that have the most people at PCAR next week, or actually on the 20th, will have the biggest business afterwards. It's always been that way. And then rhythm of the system, this is just kind of what we have on a monthly basis. And I like the idea that, in fact, we have a cadence to our business. It's a rhythm, that there's something, you can count on something weekly, you can count on something monthly, and you can count on, basically 3 major events a year. And take advantage of that. And here's the number one thing to do. Make sure you have your ticket first. How are you going to promote something you're not committed to? There's a thing called congruency. That means when what we say is what we're doing, body, mind, and soul. And you got to be congruent in this business and set that example. It's all example-centered leadership. Promote the speaker, the event, and promote the special events. Like we always get together and have Brent come in and speak, or we'll do something in a suite or something. Hey, we have a special VIP reception you're personally invited to. Who's been invited to a VIP reception lately? It's a really good tool to use. This is a names list. I always, this is the names list I use for a function. I write down all the people, because how are you going to be able to invite somebody there if you don't have them on a list yet? Can't just be in your head. And it's also quantifiable, okay? And then I have, yes or no, and then do they have their, if it's a distance function, do they have their ticket, do they have their flight, do they have their hotel? And now I become a positive problem solver. And what I do is that, you want to be a professional. The number one skill to master in this business is building event to event. And so what you want to do, how to build momentum and maximize the event and hit your goals. I put the blank days to, I always have a counter on my phone when, how many days to build 24 coming up. We're going to go to the Salem. Actually, I'll be at a couple of them because we have people come to a couple of them. I'll be in LA on the 25th and I'll be in Salem on the 26th and 27th. Maybe going to the one in Orlando that's a cruise. Kind of want to do that anyhow. But anyway, but be sure you have your ticket first. This is example center leadership. Does Brent set the example? I mean, look at the example he set and all the people he's inspired to set that same example. And then be a professional. First, you inform them of the event, all the details of it. Then secondly, you explain how this is going to help them get their goals and dreams. It's going to help them. They're going to get around that proximity. It's going to get a different perspective. It's going to help them become better as a realtor. And it's going to help them become better as building an organization. And then as you get closer and closer, I'm promoting all the time. Who's the best promoter? Brent is. I mean, he just gets into details and gets into their heart. I mean, it's just, but most important thing, be on their side of the table. Don't have it to be where you're like the seller trying to, or you're trying to get them to buy something or something. No, get on their same side of the table. I know you want to accomplish well in this business. And I know you're serious about your goals and dreams. How can we help you get there? Get on their side of the table and be a positive problem solver. Is it the ticket? Is it the flight? Is it the hotel room? Is it being able to take time off? Is it babysitters? Whatever the case is, help them accomplish what they need to get there. And I can't stress that enough. I've had several situations where whether it was money or whatever the case is, and we just figured out a way to do it. So if there's a will, there's a way, right? Okay. And then weekly Zoom and live trainings, powerful. And of course we have the AI event coming up. The May Madness was incredible. I think I've been to 5 of them now. I was in Pasadena with Brent yesterday. It was powerful. I had almost 20 speakers there. It was just incredible. The place was packed out. Energy was high. Very, very good. And do you have your ticket for Build? Go to build24.com, get your ticket for Build. And
we're doing one now. The LA one is back on. I just did
a
site visit at Disney. It's going to be at Disneyland Hotel, so you can go a day early, day late.
Yep.
We'll have the event during the day, then we'll all go to dinner and watch the fireworks. We have a private area, so it'll be a really nice event.
Yeah, and it's $99. I already bought my ticket, bought it yesterday.
That's the lowest ticket price, and there's only a few of those. So.
Yeah, right, yeah. Well, I got one. Anyway, I'll probably use it for a guest and I'll get another one. But anyway, so your future is created by what you do today, not tomorrow. TNT, today, not tomorrow. Do something today that your future self will thank you about. And today is the opportunity to build the tomorrow you want. It's been great to be sharing with you.